I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics. What is the footprint that you want to leave on the planet? It's about legacy because my father is sick today. And just see, yesterday, we had to rush him to the hospital. Now he's in the intensive care unit. I love my father so dearly. He is a big part of the reason that I started my own business. My father worked forever until he just had to stop working. My mother wouldn't take it any longer. But he is retired now. And when I thought about, him and the footprint that he is leaving on the planet, one of which is me, and I have sisters and brothers who are fabulous people who are definitely successful in their unique ways. We definitely have to be thankful to our parents. And I thought about, he just makes me think about it, how we all gather around him now that he needs our support and all of the years that he has done that for us, that I thought about what is the footprint that we want to leave on the planet? What is the legacy that you want your life to represent? And believe it or not, legacy is the first principle of AfroEconomics. Yep, it is indeed. I'm going to go and share so that you can see this. I'm gonna go into the book. I'm gonna cast it up behind me so that you can you can't believe it till you see it. They say, and then don't even believe it till you really hold it in your hand. So make sure you go to the AfroEconomics bookstore and get the book. But you'll see principle 1 of AfroEconomics is legacy. This is the trophy from AfroEconomics, our membership for our member of the year, the SANKOFA symbol, the Adinkra symbol for legacy, to make sure that you use the past to nurture the future. You can see in this one where some of them, a lot of the SANKOFA symbols don't go all the way back. I love this one. This was made for me in Ghana. The brother has a company that he does these trophies. So if you want his name, please, contact me. But this is uniquely the AfroEconomics Member of the Year trophy that actually belongs to Don Tice. So he hasn't been able to pick it up because he's a hard-working Black man. But he definitely is one of 2 of the AfroEconomics Members of the Year that we have. And the other one is Kirkland Dorsey, who both of them have a commitment to the legacy of Black financial empowerment and Black empowerment, and their commitment to the community and building and their unique support and of AfroEconomics. I can't thank them enough. And so you see here, the bird has the egg, and the egg just think of this bird as my father, and I am that egg. And everything that he has done, has to protect and nurture me, is from his commitment to utilizing all of his experiences from his past and using that to come back and nurture me and use it for me. And I have to do the same. And that egg represents my child. That egg to me represents all of my clients that I serve, and how I have made a commitment to nurture them and to build them up and to help them build their legacy. So we want to make sure that we live our lives, I believe, as following the principles of AfroEconomics, that our life should be committed to building a legacy and building the future based on using your strong principles and the strength of our ancestors to move us forward. We don't need to forget where we came from to get where God wants to take us. We can use that to build on. So definitely, I have some key points that I want to share about legacy. Let's see. So these are some key things that I think that we should do to bring home that first principle of AfroEconomics. Let me share with you Here I have AfroEconomics is a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and abroad. The first principle of AfroEconomics is to build your legacy by discovering your why. Why am I here? What is God's purpose for me? Your why means, what do you want to engrave and cement on this planet? What is the secret? What is the footprint that you want to leave here once you're gone, right? And what kind of footprint do we want to have on the planet while we're here? Do you want it to be a strong, healthy footprint? Or do you want, or a messy footprint, or a strong footprint? You want to have a positive impact every day of your life. I believe that we should strive for that. I believe that. And that's what AfroEconomics represents. And that's why legacy is the first principle of AfroEconomics. So and in many cases, as a financial professional, I've discovered that we're generally encouraged to think about the estate planning, a proper name for a legacy. Look, another name, I'm not going to say proper, another name, textbook name for legacy planning, estate planning, and they turn it into just a legal document. But I'm going to focus on here. Yes, and yes again. Yes, you need a will. We need to have a will. Most people need to have a will. Does it have to be a very expensive legal document? No. And I help my members through connecting with the correct legal process of having a will, updating your will, what needs to be included in the will, and what does not need to be included in the will. Because a lot of assets are passed on through contracts, not through the will. So those are the type of things that when you're one-on-one with your financial advisor, or hopefully as a member, when we have our one-on-one member meetings, that we talk about these. So visualize your last day. Visualize your last day on this planet and what you want it to be like. Don't wait until that you are at your last day to think about what you want your last day to be like. As my ancestors have passed on, I have to believe that they have thought about what life they wanted to have before that life came about, that it took some planning. It takes some planning for my father to have the strong relationship that he has with my mother now as they approach their 80th decade on the planet, So I think that we sometimes think that things will just happen. But no, I feel that we first have to visualize that. And I've heard my father tell me many times that he first visualized himself as having a college degree. And then he visualized himself as having a master's degree, even though they wrote him letters and told him, I don't want you to come to this college. We'll pay you, Black man, to go to another school. And then he had to visualize himself as the first person in his family in getting a PhD from New York University. He had to first visualize those things. So I challenge you to first visualize. I remember as a child, I always visualized myself as having my own business. I used to say I wanted to be a bank president because I didn't understand investment advisory. And then as I became more educated, I realized that I want to be more than just a banker. I wanted to invest, to create financial empowerment, to give people and set up investment portfolios for people. So now we have our AfroEconomics investment portfolios, as well as they have avenues in their brokerage account to take care of banking needs. So through partnerships that AfroEconomics, JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm, has been able to offer to our members and clients. So that had to first be a vision. So we have to first visualize your last day, what you want your legacy to be like, what you want each day to be like, what you want to be remembered for. Why are you here? Why do you believe that you're here? And the second point I want to use as a form of motivation for you is you can choose what your legacy is going to be. You can choose that. No one has to choose that for you. You can choose that. Do you want it to be money? Do you want it to be money left from a life insurance policy? Do you want to be money left from savings or investing? Or do you want it to be a business that you build? Then you have to build that business. That if you say, well, I wish that I want my children to not have to worry about getting a job because I want to build a business, then you got to build a business. If you say, I want whatever the legacy, if I want to start this nonprofit because I believe that this cause is very important, you start that nonprofit, and you focus on that nonprofit, and you have to, my third point is realizing that the plan starts with you. The plan starts with you. Anything, your legacy, your last will and testament, your footprint, all of it starts with you. I said, look at yourself for direction and take steps accordingly. I said, get people to help you with your legacy, not what they want for you, but what you want to offer to the planet. The message that God has given you as to what you need to offer. Because you'll have people come up to you and go, you see, what you want to have is what you want to leave your family is this amount of money through this, whatever. So, but that might not be what you want to leave your family through just money. Or money might be part of it, but you also have other aspects that you want to make sure that you offer to your family. So you have to make sure that you take control, that you realize that your legacy is your vision, that what you accomplish, what you leave, what is done during your lifetime is up to you. My Facebook status today says life, live it completely. Out of this very hard time in my life of being totally out of control. I can't control what happens to my parents. I can't control my father's current situation. I cannot. But what I can do is learn from this very strong, healthy, productive life that he led. What do you want your life to say for you? What do you want it to say? So my fourth point is to be determined, be focused. The 10th principle, the 9th principle of AfroEconomics is determination and focus. Be determined, be focused about your legacy and know that it's worth it. They're always telling us that, that you need to have, like, I get a lot of pressure on that. Like, oh, you need to have a more balanced life and, things like that. And then I realized I was reading something and it was talking about when you ask people, what do they want? Would they prefer balance or would they prefer happiness? And they chose happiness the majority of the time over balance. Now, I love what I do, so for someone else to say that, you're not balanced because I love doing my work, because I probably work like, I don't know how many hours there are in a week, but I work like probably 80% of the hours in a week, taking out a little bit for exercise, taking that every day, unless there's some sort of emergency for some particular reason. Every day I make a point to do some exercise to make that health right so that you can do what you love. We have to realize there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be something, and the broader and the more you grow. Like this month, I'm doing the grand opening of my New York office that I've been working on for over a year of wanting this vision to come together. But we should say I was working on it since 1995 when I started the firm. And there's always going to be something. But I realized is that just because you're adding on different layers, different things that you want to be included in your legacy, that doesn't mean that you have to be more overwhelmed, that has to represent more work. No, what that can represent for you is that you have to be more committed to making sure that you make healthy choices with your life, that you focus on, right? focus on that which is important. What messes us up when you're trying to achieve something is when you get distracted with stuff that has nothing to do with that platform, those roots that you're trying to build. Because I honestly see myself like, we live in a society that says that after 20 years of business, you pretty much, hey, you should have everything that you thought. Now, first of all, I know that as being a Black person, we need to get outside of that mentality, because most of us, like myself, we're starting off with a negative. When I got into the professional arena, I had negative. So my legacy had to build up out of negative to get to zero. Then you're investing constantly into building your dream. And when I decided to start the company in my 20s, most people told me not to do it because you're too young. So now you see, we are always told to put off your legacy, put off your purpose. Then you get older and they said, well, you should have already done that by now. You know, well, you have to be very careful on knowing on what you should have done by now. What you should have done by now is learn how to be in tune with what you actually need. Be in tune with what your dream really is and focus just on that. What is your dream really? Don't allow your legacy to be what somebody told you should do with your life. Or this is the way that I can make a lot of money. You know, this is going to lead. No, you truly are building a business and building things that you want to live on for lifetimes behind you. Then you got to know that you are at the bricklayer for, I really feel that I'm under the ground. I'm under the ground. I'm building roots for AfroEconomics, JB Bryan Financial Group. I'm just in the roots. Nobody's even seeing the tree yet. Only thing you see is just potential. But your legacy, if you build it right, if you structure it correctly, if you do it correctly, your next generation will be able to build on the strong roots, the strong foundation that you built for them. If no less than making a commitment to being a good person, being the best person that you can be. That's to even say that's no less, that's everything. That's everything that you can really leave to your family. A person with some good sense, a good work ethic, integrity, you know, a fear of having a legacy of fear of God, and that your descendants knowing that you had a great relationship with God and that you live your purpose in integrity. That's powerful. That's everything. That's everything. Because that will keep them centered for their lifetime after you. They'll go back to that. They'll go back to that. Just materialism is not a legacy building. It's not. How do we get that? How did you get that? What is it based on? How solid is it? What's the foundation of it? What are the roots of it? Right? The roots of it have to be good to bring forth good fruit forever. So being determined and focused. Fall in love with the process. It's true. With all that I'm just talking about, and all those hours that we work on building our legacy, you have to fall in love with the process. Because if you're just working, waiting on the fruit, you may not be here to see it. So you have to love the process of building and living your God-given purpose. You have to fall in love with that. You got to love it. You got to wake up and say, oh, I love that. I got to get through this challenge today. And then get to after that challenge, you go, wow, that was great. Wow, being able to conquer and be determined and get through challenges is something they can't teach you. It's not textbook. That's a muscle that's only built by bench pressing yourself. Yes, it's uniquely yours. So fall in love with the process. And finally, realize that your life is your legacy and live it. Live your legacy completely. Write up the plan. Get involved in AfroEconomics. Develop a financial plan. Get yourself together. Clean yourself up. Make sure that you're financially healthy. Make sure you're physically healthy. Make sure that you got yourself straight first and live your legacy, because you are the root of it. You got to keep you right. You got to keep you right in order for everything that's building on top of you or behind you, through you, that you're the basis of it. You're the foundation. You are the solid rock. So do that properly. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for all of y'all that registered in the webinar. Those of you who are not watching on the webinar, go to AfroEconomics.com. And I encourage you so that you can ask questions, that you can fully participate. You can do teleconference. You can even ask me to be on the panel so that everybody can see your face too. So the webinar allows us to have a lot of options. Most importantly, it allows us to keep in touch because you automatically get invitations to all of my other events. I do events on Wednesdays and on Sundays, and the Black Business Summit in DC, our nation's capital. My office, 700 12th Street Northwest, is this Sunday. And thank you so much, y'all. It's a full house. But if you would like information on the New York Black History Brunch, it is up and popping. Yes, I'm excited about that we have a lot of people already registered for the brunch in 1441 Broadway at 41st and Broadway. So make sure that you check it out. And it's at 10 Times Square, same building, but it says 10 Times Square, 1441 Broadway. Look, you're getting this information from a country girl, so make sure you check it out on your own, 1441 Broadway. But go to AfroEconomics.com and register so that you can hang out with me and on the in suite third floor in New York, 707th floor in DC. But we got the Black Business Summit, we got the Black History Brunch on the calendar for March is Women's History Month, and we're going to have a women's money management brunch in the National Harbor in Maryland in March. So make sure you check that stuff out. Y'all are wonderful. Thank you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Y'all pray for my dad. Pray for his wellness and health, and that he will be home quickly. I got to get over there. I'm going to get through this work day and then go check on Pops. Y'all have a great day. God bless.